Welcome to Integrated. This is the podcast where we seek to bridge the gap between the intellect and the will so that we can grow as disciples of Christ, surrendering all that we are and all that we have to the truth. Hey, you guys. Thanks for joining us tonight. It is me, Angela Erickson, your host, and Darren, a.k.a. Red Rover Champ, over there on the other side. He is our resident cross-stitching teacher. Because I'm always learning. Thanks for coming on again tonight.
Yeah, no problem.
So we are doing a pattern tonight. We're basically going to be cross-stitching Merry Christmas, You Filthy Animals, which is exactly why I kept saying that on Twitter and everything. That's what Darren sent me, like a pattern, but it's virtual. It's a digital pattern. And he sent me all the things that I needed, and I almost lost them again because I'm really good at this stuff.
I have one of these made at home, and it's on my mother's Christmas tree, and I was going to try to take it so that I actually had like a finished one to show.
Yeah.
But I don't know what she did to it. Like, it is attached to that tree. Like, I felt like taking it off was going to affect its structural integrity. Like, it is on there.
How did she feel about your Christmas card?
I think she's just kind of given up. because I've been sending stupid Christmas cards out for about the last 5 years. I think she has more fun seeing how other people react to them. So, like, on the back of this year's card, I had that photo of Jesus popping up from the side.
Yeah.
And the first year that I sent that out, she said, "Did you know that one of your siblings asked me, what does it mean that it's Jesus' birthday?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" So, yeah, I know. So I think she has more fun with hearing other people's reactions to it.
I thoroughly enjoyed the "please don't do cocaine in the bathroom" cross stitch in the back. That was my favorite.
Yeah, it's a good cross stitch.
That one's a good one. We'll have to do that one sometime.
Yeah. Yes, that would develop some of your skill sets. So this is I made this one at the beginning of like the pandemic last year. I took like a little Dr. Mario virus.
Oh
and
my
then just put the
gosh.
corona. He looks really sad.
Aww.
Like, poor guy.
You have some really good ones. All right. So Darren, oops, I don't want to be looking at just me. Sorry about that. Everyone can stare at me. I'm just gonna have you in the background. I'm kidding.
So let me see if I can.
Mac, I hope you get better soon. I'm sorry that you're not feeling well.
Hang on. Let me see if I can't
share or something.
Yeah, but I wanted to. I don't want to share my entire screen. I want to do this in a way that not everybody's seeing everything. Not that there's anything to see.
Mac, you should have a hot toddy with tonight with your own little, with your liquids and Kleenex.
Let me see here.
Oh, you're the sweetest, Mac. You would have laughed. I seriously couldn't find the red thread before we went live, and I think Darren was somewhat embarrassed, like for me, maybe embarrassed to be associating with me.
Here we go.
Ooh, I wonder if let's see here. Can you do the present mode at the bottom?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I have to do some authentications on my computer.
So I guess I will use this time to just tell people that you should really like this episode because it will get really fun once we get started. I don't know what I'm doing with cross stitching. Darren has taught me a little bit. I'm still definitely learning. And I have to admit, I did not finish my previous cross stitches. But I did end up finding the sloth cross stitch like the next day or something after our last cross stitching stream. So I need to do that one. And then, okay. All right. Like it. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel. I like to every once in a while do something that's just super laid back. I think we're constantly inundated with news and sometimes bad news, like a lot of the time, bad news. And I just think we need more community, especially at a time when we're so isolated, and just doing things that don't necessarily bring everyone down all the time. So fun, easy things. I actually have a really fun live coming up. I'm going to tell you because I can't keep it a secret. But I have a friend. He's a headmaster for a local high school, a local Catholic high school. And he also is an expert in all things bourbon and whiskey. And so we're going to have a live bourbon tasting. He's going to come here. He actually is a former podcaster. He has over 55,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel, and he turned down the chance of becoming a professional YouTuber. Like, I had no idea. He's a Catholic dad of 8 kids, and the oldest is 12, and the youngest is just turning 1 in a couple days or tomorrow or something. And I used to do some homeschooling with his wife. So really, really fun. We're gonna sit down, talk about bourbon. Yes, Don. It's alcohol. We're going to talk about bourbon, but we're also going to talk about integration and just philosophy and theology. We'll probably talk about Pope Emeritus Benedict the 16th as well, because I think he had a pretty profound impact on his own life. But we're going to be hopefully doing that towards the end of January. So make sure you're subscribed so you can join us for that live. I will be sharing in advance like the type of bourbon we're going to be learning about, so you can join us with your own flight of bourbon and learn with me about it all. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Hey Enoch, I fully expect you to be joining for that live as well. Anyway, how's it going, Darren?
It's going okay. I can't. Oh man, let's see what's going on.
Hey Haley, I hope you're having a great Christmas. I feel like we need to say Merry Christmas, everybody. Integrating Angela with alcohol. I know it just wouldn't be a show without me drinking a little something. Yes, I said the B word, bourbon. We're going to be enjoying it together. It's going to be super fun. So I fully expect to see all of you guys there. And yeah, he's just really interesting. And you guys are going to love him. If you're wondering what his channel was, it's 555 Gears, I think, or Gear. But he would review all these different products like knives and hunting stuff and just very like manly things. So you can go find his channel if you want.
So I'm still trying to figure out the stupid thing. How to present. I mean, like I had a slide and I still can't present it. So you know what? I'm just gonna.
I think we got it. We got it.
Do you have it?
I helped you. Yeah.
Oh,
there you go. That's what we're doing.
There we
now.
go. All right, because I set it up and then you have to put it on there. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So yeah, so we're probably gonna adjust a little bit. Obviously, take out maybe a row between to make it fit.
Yeah.
and then the embellishment at the bottom will probably just
forego.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's what we're doing tonight, you guys.
So I have a funny story about. So I'm doing I haven't worked on this all month, but I'm doing like a Shroud of Turin cross stitch as a larger project.
Ooh.
And I took this home and I was showing my sister, and her first response was, "Why are you doing it like that? That's stupid. Like, do you even know how to cross stitch?"
What? And you're so good at this.
So, if you remember the last episode, I told you that there are some people who, like, you'll encounter that do cross stitch that have very strong opinions.
Well, good thing for me that I don't know many people that cross stitch. Because, oh, yeah. And I'm not good at it because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm relying on you to teach me. So, do you want to keep this up or how do you want to do this? I know he does seem like a ventriloquist because his screen is a little bit frozen, isn't it? Are you still there?
My mic just like popped out of my headset for a moment. We could keep it that way, or is there a way to make that a little bit smaller?
Nope.
Nope.
I don't think so.
Well, it's up to you. However you want to do that.
Well, I'll pull it. Let's I'll just pull it back up here
from time to time.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe when we're kind of showing everyone where we're at. Oh, that'll be perfect. Okay.
Okay.
I have to find my needle. I was telling Darren beforehand that Veronica was doing her very best to get into all of my stuff earlier today. And so now I'm trying to get my life together.
And that's how you almost lost the
that's how I almost lost the threading. Because I was like, she started crawling for it, and I had to like throw it aside, make sure she couldn't get anywhere near it.
I hope I sent you enough thread for this.
You know what? If you didn't, it'll make it even better, I guess. But it'll be funny.
All right. So I'm thinking the way we start with this is maybe we start with the word Christmas. Because that's going to go up or go down. Either way. I think we start with the word Christmas because that's going to be kind of in the middle of your item, and then that's going to give you kind of an idea of how much you're going to have to reshift everything.
Okay.
And also, maybe during this episode, you don't actually have to reshift anything while we're doing this.
Yeah, I probably won't be able to get this whole thing done in one sitting because I'm not a cross-stitching rock star.
Right. Well, and then trying to have a conversation as well. And potentially, getting the thread knotted up once or twice.
Oh, no, I would never do that.
Right.
So how was your Christmas? What did you do?
I just went home to see family. So I had family that came in a few days before Christmas. So I saw some nieces from South Carolina that I don't see too often. And then since there was really nobody else in town, my brother went off to Jamaica for Christmas for the holidays with his family. So there was no one. I know, and it's like perfect timing too because it was cold. So like they left, they missed all of it.
Wow.
and then they flew American, so they didn't have to deal with the whole Southwest headache when they.
I feel like I know everything. I keep seeing stuff all over the internet about Southwest, but I don't know exactly what happened. Is it because they have a staffing shortage or something?
I'm not well versed on the story either. So I do know that they canceled a whole lot of flights, and like they seem to be the only airline that did it, and I don't know what kind of caused it, but yeah, it's a pretty big snafu.
Okay, I'm gonna try and get this thing started. I don't know. I can't. You're frozen, so I'm afraid to.
Okay.
Mm,
Is it? Am I unfrozen?
let me double check. I'm staring at the thing you sent me.
The pattern.
Yep.
Am I unfrozen
And
now? Just keep waiting.
yeah, you're still very frozen.
I'm still very frozen.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
That is weird. Because I'm not streaming anything else at the moment.
Yeah, you're looking off into the distance past your camera in a very serious. Yeah, so Rob is saying to exit the stream and come back in. So I might boot you off.
What?
And then
Okay.
you're
that
fired. That was fun.
Now you've got a taste for it.
Rob, I can see why you do this so much on Avoiding Babylon. But now you're missing entirely. Where are you?
What? Is there?
It's just a black screen. It's like your camera is off or something.
All right. I'm going to exit completely and just.
Oh. And he's going to have to figure out how to get that little pattern back up. But I know this is Avoiding Babylon. I'm taking over. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, I hope you guys all had like a good Christmas. It was pretty laid back here. I'm telling them about Christmas at our place. We just went to my parents on Christmas Eve for a couple of hours, but my mom wasn't feeling great. Hi, Connor. And then after that, on Christmas Day, we went to my in-laws for a while, but it's pretty low key, which was nice because Lars was out of town for a few days. And I need more, like, I don't know, more time alone, I think. I love my children, but, you know.
You're introvert?
I think I am. I don't know. I have always been told that I'm an extrovert.
You don't know?
Well, okay.
How do you not know?
Okay, so here's the thing. That's a great question. My whole life I've been told I'm an extrovert, and it's because I can go into like a room and I'm comfortable wherever. Like, I don't care if I'm the center of the conversation or if I'm listening and just being engaged that way, but I get tired and I need alone time. I'm not a happy person. I'm a weird person. I love to go to bars and with like a book and just get a drink and read at the bar by myself.
Doesn't sound like an extrovert personality.
I don't know.
I know people have told me that they think that I'm extroverted, and I laugh in their face.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no way. The only reason people ever think that is because I get comfortable around them.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, when I'm comfortable around you, yes, I probably come across as extroverted, but I'm not.
You know, if Anthony were here, he would be talking about how I'm a sanguine.
If Anthony was here, we'd still be waiting to start our own conversation.
Anthony would be he would be taking over and interviewing me on my podcast.
You would be.
Oh, we love you, Anthony. Yeah. I hope you're having fun with your family at the Airbnb that you're at.
It's fun. It's fun laughing about it. Laughing with
them. What is this? An ambivert? Is that a real thing? Is that a real thing, Haley?
An ambivert? What is that? Like somebody who's part introvert, part extrovert?
Connor. I'm the same Angela, except the bar part. Okay, so this sounds really bad. It sounds like I go to the bar a lot or something. Something like that happened.
between that and your bourbon coming up, I mean, there are some.
This is not helping.
There are some signs. You know, I have a friend. His name is Bill W. He might be able to help you.
Oh my gosh, I'm just gonna sign off now. I'll see you guys later.
All right. How's that stitching coming along? Have you got your needle thread?
I have. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I've got the top part of my C, I think.
Okay, yeah. All right. Yeah, so the first couple stitches.
Yeah, we
right.
haven't gotten very far yet.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Don't make fun of me. I don't know what I'm doing.
I'm not making fun of you. So one of the things that in my larger project, one of the things that my sister kind of pointed out to me, she's like, I found out that you don't actually have to knot the thread every time you start. Like you can, like if you're not like pulling like super hard, I mean you got to pull it and everything, but like you can actually like as you're putting on that back stitch, just put the thread under it and like keep going. I didn't think about that.
I
that
kind of thought that the last time I started working on, I revisited the frog that I had, and that actually occurred to me.
So you're a natural.
Wow, look at me.
Look at that.
How neat is that? That's pretty neat.
So yeah, I haven't actually ever done it with these smaller projects. I don't think it doesn't really matter. With the larger project that I have, because I want to lay it flat, I might have to rethink how I'm doing that because I don't want a whole bunch of knots.
Yeah.
I don't want a pimple face Jesus. When I'm done.
That would not do justice to our Lord. That is for sure. So that's so funny. Yeah, it was. I love Christmas. Christmas is awesome and everything, but it is. I don't know. I feel like I enjoy the days after Christmas Day more than I enjoy Christmas Day.
You enjoy the season of Christmas?
Maybe.
More than the Advent?
It's because it's too stressful, like having to go everywhere.
Well, you're just, so that's
I like
just
hanging out at home. I'm a homebody.
I think, I think the New Year's portion of celebrating Christmas it's like a big almost sigh of relief that it's kind of over.
Yeah, it's kind of sad that it feels that way.
But then January and February come along, and you're like, nobody wants to get together because we all got together in December.
It's too cold.
Yeah, well, where you are.
Yeah, where I am, it's too cold. Okay, you have to tell me, how does my C look? I did it.
Okay, put up a little more.
Oh, is it up? Okay.
Oh yeah, that looks like a C.
It's a C.
It's a C.
Yay. I did the thing. All right, on to the next one.
Yeah,
H.
just one letter over.
I know, this is really hard stuff. Mac, are you kidding me right now? I'm getting caught up on the chat. It was not all about drinking. Okay, it kind of was.
It was a little bit about drinking.
Okay, so if you weren't here, thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you. I've been working really hard. My cross stitching. Okay, so like, how far are you, Darren?
I'm not that much further. I like just started before we even got on here, so I almost put the Christ in Christmas. So
look at you. That's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm doing it a little bit different.
I like that. I like your coloring.
Like, yeah, I'm putting it white lettering against a red background.
Okay.
It'll be a little bit different. I got some different colored Ada cloth for different projects in the future. I don't know.
What other projects do you have coming up in the future?
I don't know. I did see a really cool pattern and a raccoon holding a balloon and a sign that said, to me, you are trash.
What?
And I was like, that. I liked it.
I like it.
Hi.
Oh, there's John.
Hi. Because, I mean, of course, to a trash panda, trash, it's like a love letter for a trash panda.
Time to say goodbye. All right. The only reason I didn't lock the door is because I'm anticipating Lars bringing Veronica in. Otherwise, I would have locked the door.
Oh.
There we go. I live in an asylum of my own making.
I just love the sounds of your child saying no.
We had a rough day today, so this is like some kind of catharsis here to just. Can you hear him like shaking the doorknob?
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Trying to get back in.
Boy, he's a riot. He's my resident comedian. He's telling me that Veronica's crying, which is not surprising. She is very constipated.
That doesn't sound good. So,
sorry. He might be done.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Yeah, it'll come back.
It is like integrated with Darren. We have to make this like a quarterly event.
A quarterly event, yeah. I'll just have to keep getting like simple cross stitch patterns together. I do not do embroidery. So I mean, I guess the last episode we did. Hold on, I still have it here. If I can get to it. Like I was talking about how when I learned how to do all this on like tea towels, like basically dish rags.
Yeah.
And so we do like little iron-on patterns, and so yeah, like you have to. So it requires some embroidery skill to do some of that. But still, you're like following out. You're embroidering across a line. You're not embroidering like like coloring in the picture. I know very basic embroidery skills. Enough that I can like hem my own pants. That's about it.
I will say, after that one cross stitching episode, I was able to, basically embroider. So we got a new mattress, and somehow in transport there was a tear that happened. So I was able to stitch that back up, and I was very, very proud of myself. Yeah, and I wouldn't have been able to do that without you, Darren. So thank you.
It's a very basic skill, and I think it's a skill set that most people should have knowledge of.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
There's different like little tips and tricks for different things too. Like if you're a guy and you need like to sew a button back on a shirt. So like one of the things to do,
you wouldn't just you wouldn't find some woman in your life to do that.
Well, I guess you could do it that way, but
I just feel like men would expect that to be a lady's job. I don't think it is, but
one of the things that you would do is you would basically double or quadruple up the thread and tie the knot to the tie all the knot in the back of it. Put like maybe 2 loops through the holes, and then you behind the button, like just spin the thread around so that you still have a 2 or 3 times, so that you still actually have a gap between the button and your shirt, so that's not too tight against the shirt, so you actually get the button through the hole. That's cute. I don't.
Sorry, I'm trying to work that one out in my brain.
Yeah. It's just bathroom humor.
It's just what?
It's just bathroom humor.
I must not understand it very well, which is okay, I guess. I'm going to be actually on Enoch's podcast here soon.
Very cool.
Yep.
I know I was talking with Connor last time I was on a show. I can't remember what that show was about. I feel so bad now. But I remember.
His show plot lines?
Yeah, I can't remember what I was on a show talking about last time. But uh, but I know he's requested to do a show probably sometime in the future. I don't know how soon it's going to be to go over my top book recommendations.
Ooh, well then I won't ask
So,
about them.
but
That would be mean. But I would like to know.
it's a little bit. It's actually been a little bit of a challenge because I know because like 3 or 4 books that I got to read before. Because I don't know if they're going to be on my list or not. I got to read them first.
Why do you have to? Why can't you just do like your list now?
That's
then-
what I did. I have my list now, but like I have like 2 or 3 that are on the list, and I'm just like I'm not really that wild about this book.
So like, can I ask like I won't ask all of the book recommendations, but let's say what's your favorite book?
See, it's really hard. I feel like I have a good top 5, but I don't know that I have a clear.
So what are you
favorite.
reading now then?
So I'm reading 4 books.
Oh,
that's what the show is about. We were just going over books we're currently reading.
It is kind of like that, Mac.
So I had to like start a couple books so I could do the episode.
But the truth comes out
because I wasn't doing it. So I am reading Upton Sinclair's The Jungle, which is about the Chicago meatpacking industry at the turn of the 20th century. So it follows a Lithuanian family trying to get a start in America. Do that. So that's actually been it's been an enjoyable read so far. I'm about a third of the way through it. And then I had one book called The Coming of God, which is an Advent book that I got like 15 years ago, and I've just never actually sat down and read it. And that one was really good because it's I feel like the writing style could be a little bit more structured. That she could have written it in a little bit more of a scholarly fashion and kind of maybe given a few more references in her writing and stuff like that. But it's still, there's still some really interesting ideas that came. So, the first chapter is kind of talking about hope and how it relates to kind of our understanding of poverty. So we usually think of poverty in strict material terms. So instead she's talking about how the hopelessness of somebody who has no material goods and doesn't see a future that they can really finally like build themselves out of. Like that's a true poverty because they've lost that. They've just resigned themselves to that hopelessness.
Right.
But then also the poverty of a person who may have material wealth, but becomes kind of nihilistic because they don't really see the purpose of life.
Which is a lot of people today.
So, yeah.
That's real spiritual poverty. And we have so much of that today. But
then she didn't really get into like the theological concept per se, but she did kind of talk a little bit about theosis, which is just a fun theological concept, but like relating to how the incarnation of Christ and how he took like how taking on his humanity so fully that he kind of experienced everything to a greater degree than you or I, in a sense. So like in some sense, the understanding that sin is kind of a reaching out for comfort and kind of security to a certain degree. the fact that Christ did not have that, he was constantly kind of in that almost kind of uncomfortable space of kind of certainty and not really like maybe not really knowing what the next step is. I mean, he's divine, but he's also in that human form, so he doesn't have that complete fullness that one might expect with a relational, like in being perfect relationship with God.
Yeah.
And then also talking just about how he would have known he was God the moment that he was born, but how it would have been maybe more intuitive in a sense. So like it's not so it's not the idea that he would have never not known that he was God, but like as time went on, as he developed as a in his humanity, he would have developed a better grasp of being able to relate that and to convey that.
But didn't
understanding.
St. Thomas Aquinas say that obviously St. Thomas, like not everything is dogmatic, but St. Thomas Aquinas posits that Jesus knew even from the moment of his birth that he was God.
Yeah, and she's not disputing that. She's just saying that she's just trying to reconcile what that would have been like from a human conceptualization of that. Like how do you know, like, you know, it wasn't like since he was 2 and started talking that he was like, I'm God, right? Like he was perfect in his humility, but part of that was also like it's more intuitive knowledge. Like sometimes how you might know that person over there you want to stay away from. You don't really know why, but you know that person over there, just stay away from. And later you kind of find out, oh yeah, my intuition was correct. So it's just maybe starting out as was like it, that kind of conceptualization of how to convey that, came through time. So like he still would have had, there would have still been a time when the word could not form a word in this humanity.
That's really interesting. I feel like
but
contemplating his early life is so interesting.
But theology of theosis is actually, it's a little bit complicated because the first time that I really just kind of like jumped into it was in college, and it was an introduction to Meister Eckhart. Meister Eckhart is like, he's a Dominican mystic, but like if you're not familiar with it, like some of his stuff that he says almost sounds Buddhist.
Oh, interesting.
It's like I don't know if that's really correct, but it's
legit?
But it is theological. I mean, a lot of what he says is theologically sound, but it's just like it's just, you're not used to hearing it in that specific way.
Can you give an example? I'm gonna put you on the spot.
I know. There's a few quotes that are like, so one of them, like the eye with which we see God is the God which is the eye which God sees us. So this idea, the idea that the more, I think there's a quote about like the more we empty ourselves out, God replaces himself. So just that kind of idea that it's almost, I don't know the exact quote, but I just remember thinking this is kind of like the idea that space abhors a vacuum. like the more you empty yourself out, the more God will replace that emptiness with himself.
There
is one quote by, I can't think of it off the top of my head, that does sound really controversial, but I can't remember what it is. Gotta look it up.
That's helpful. No, I'm just kidding.
I know.
How far along are you on your? I accidentally overdid it on my age. I made it too big. That's okay.
Whoops. Well, you can always unstitch.
No, I won't do that. It's too much time.
Oh my goodness. Okay, fine.
I won't do it.
I got the Christ and Christmas. So
Oh my goodness, you are fast.
I'm not. It's not going along that fast.
Well, I don't know what this says about me. I'm moving at a snail's pace here.
That's all right. Yeah, I do hope I got you enough thread.
What?
I do hope I sent you enough thread because I was thinking like, oh, I should just be able to give you one strand. You split it into 3.
Oh, we'll see. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if I can get one strand. I don't know. Hopefully I can get. I think I'm going to use up one strand of my own just for Christmas.
Yeah. I might be able to find some other thread though. I actually have I don't know, and this is my ignorance on all things cross stitching. Could I just use like any kind of thread, or is there like thread specifically made for cross stitching?
It's actually not called thread.
It's not what?
It's not called thread.
What is it called?
It's called embroidery floss.
Okay. Embroidery floss. So yeah. I guess the answer is that no, they cannot be used interchangeably.
Let me get one of my.
I'm gonna deduce here that thread and embroidery floss cannot be used interchangeably. So that helps with my ignorance.
Just so when you go to like a craft shop, like the embroidery floss is sold like this. Yeah. Right.
I used to make friendship bracelets with that.
And there's a number on it, and that number relates to the specific color, the shade that it is. And then you can get these kind of simple spools, these flat spools to wrap it around to make it a little bit easier to so this is technically called a skein of they're very cheap. They're like 60 cents a piece or something like that.
Good to know. Oh, Mac beat us. He must be all done now.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, see Lauren understands. By the way, I'm going to come in and say something that I've only like kind of announced it once, and I'm going to do a more formal announcement. But Lauren and I are going to be doing a little bit of collaborating in season 2, and you guys will be allowed, anyone who's listening now or listening later, you guys will be able to get a discount code using, I believe, integrated and a number. I have to go and double check to make sure what the exact code is, but you'll be able to go on her Etsy shop, Star of the Sea Gifts. Maybe Lauren, you could throw down the discount code if you want. But you guys can go shop at her Etsy shop with a discount code for Star of the Sea Gifts. I actually somehow managed to win a rosary from her. I swear it was not rigged. It was not rigged, but I won her. Yep, there it is. And Mac, no, you can't get a higher discount. So integrated 10, you can
that would be funny.
Secret, but you can get a better discount with inebriated. No, don't. That's not real. See, confirmation from Lauren, but you guys can go get stuff off of her shop, especially your first purchase. Use this discount code integrated 10 to get 10% off anything you buy from her store. I'm really excited to be working with Lauren. Lauren will also be coming on to my podcast. And we'll see what she comes on to talk about. We have a couple ideas, so stay tuned for that, but I'm really excited. And I'm thrilled, absolutely thrilled to be able to promote her work because the code will be able to work after January 1st. So keep it in your back pocket. But I will say the rosary that I got from her is probably my favorite rosary, and I'm not just saying that. Yes, I love free things and I want it, so it already has that bonus. But in terms of quality, I actually have been so pleasantly surprised. by the quality of it. Not because I thought Lauren was like putting cheap stuff out there or anything, but because there have been times I've like bought rosaries that fell apart really quickly, and I had like cut off an arm and sold that somewhere to buy this rosary or something. I remember buying one from the Shrine of the Immaculate Conception, I believe, at Catholic University of America. And it was a beautiful rosary, but my kids wrecked it because it was chain link, and I feel like those fall apart really quickly. And at
poor
least,
production.
huh?
Poor production.
It kind of, I mean, it was frustrating, it's like you spend an arm and a leg on these things.
I mean, it's difficult because like I make the chain link rosaries, and the first time I made one, I was like, it keeps falling apart.
It keeps falling apart while you're making it. Yeah.
Well, like so it's like, so there's a couple of things I had to learn. First of all, you have to get the proper gauge. Like if you get too light of a gauge, the wire bends and then it's like falling apart on you constantly. So you got to get a thick enough gauge that it's actually going to stay put. And then the other thing is, like, once you get done like looping everything, you got to go through and actually close the loop, because they will find a way to get out of it.
Yes.
So one of the things I do now is like, I will, if I make one, I will play with it for like a day and a half, just like tossing in the air, like just to try to figure out, like, to get it to fall apart, so that I can find the weak links and fix them.
Yeah. No, you are doing a great job. Very thorough, because I feel like every single chain link rosary I've ever had has broken ultimately. And so it was really nice when I got this rosary. I just put a link to the one that I won. It was her oh my goodness. What one? The Stella Maris rosary, and the beads are all very beautiful. Like, and it's a nice heavy rosary, but it's also made with like a sturdy wiring with small glass beads kind of separating the main, beads. And it is beautiful. My kids are unlikely. I won't put it past them that they might be able to ruin it, but it's going to be a lot harder for them than with the chain link rosaries. So I just love it. I've been using it almost every day.
It's a challenge when making different bead weaving and stuff like that, finding the right material that works, because sometimes the wire is too restrictive.
Yeah.
But then if you use thread or something like that, you can't get a large chunk done because it starts fraying, and then it's just the structural, even though it's a little flexible, the structural integrity of it is less. Like, it's going to break over time. So I've learned to do it with fishing line.
Fishing line.
So it's a specific kind of fishing line. It's called firewire. Firewire.
Are you listening, Lauren?
And
you can get Darren's tips.
You can get it at Hobby Lobby, but Hobby Lobby sells like at 80-foot, like a little 80-foot spool for like $12. I went to up in Spirit Lake, Iowa. There's like an outlet store for Berkeley fishing supplies, and they had these kind of leftover spools, because these spools that there wasn't enough fishing line left to make a full spool of fishing line to sell to the public, and they were selling for like $4 a piece, and I think they were like 120 feet and like up to 120 feet in one of these spools. So it's like, so I bought a whole lot of it. So I still am like packed over.
Well, maybe Lauren can buy some from you.
Right. So I lost my needle.
You lost your needle? How do you do that? What were you doing?
Talking to you.
It's super funny.
My thread was getting short, and like I just kind of fell off, and then like I realized I like dropped my needle, and I was like, now I don't know where it went.
This is hilarious. Oh,
I
be
don't think
careful where you step.
I don't think it's in my lap.
Did
Okay,
I ever tell you? Okay, did I don't know if I've ever talked about it. I'll tell you.
I'm
I'll tell.
listening, but I'm gonna look for my needle.
Okay, yeah, no, this will be good. So, oh man, was it like last year? Um, we let my older kids watch Home Alone for the first time, and afterward, my daughter, my now 7-year-old daughter, took it upon herself to start setting booby traps all over the house, trying to, you know, you would think that maybe she would
Surprise people?
understand. Yeah, so this was she should have been trying to, prepare for any burglars or something. I don't know, but instead she was trying to catch her parents in some sort of a booby trap. So one day she's calling for my husband. Dad, come downstairs. And she had spilled a bunch of water on the top step to try and make him slip. And then when he kind of examined what was going on, he said, why is the floor all wet here? And then he sort of looked down the stairs a little bit more. There was like trip wire down at the bottom of the stairs. But on one of the steps was a piece of cardboard, and the cardboard
had a bunch of thumbtacks.
Huh?
Had a bunch of thumbtacks on it.
It had a screw.
Ouch.
A legit screw.
That would have hurt.
I know. Pushed up through the bottom. She was hoping that he would slip and fall on.
Like, oh.
Could you imagine how awful that would be? So please don't do that. Please don't step on a needle.
I can't find my needle. Have you seen the movie A Quiet Place?
No, I haven't. No.
Okay, then I won't ruin it for you.
This was Sandra Bullock and John Krasinski, right?
Not Sandra Bullock, Emily Blunt.
Hey, oh, Emily Blunt. Oh, isn't she married to him?
Yes.
It's good to see you. If you're not hanging out with your cross stitch, make sure you get yours, and maybe grab a beverage too. A+ for Lauren. I have to agree. My daughter is extraordinarily creative. Very impressive. Mm-hmm.
Well, I can't find it, so I guess I'm going to get out another needle.
So for those if any of you are newer joining, make sure you hit subscribe while we wait for Darren to find a new needle because he lost his needle.
That's how it's stitching.
Normal stuff.
I didn't set it down. It was like while I was stitching, it just kind of.
You don't. How dare you? Oh, I'm just kidding.
It must have just flew out of my hand. There it is. It's on the table.
Oh, Mac's wife looks. Oh, it was on the table?
Yeah, it must have just flew out of my hand.
That's funny. Mac's wife looks like Emily Blunt. You're a lucky man. Lucky man, Mac. Ooh. Oh, Lauren, you'll have to post on Twitter what your cross stitch is after working on it for the last 2 months. Darren, I have to say, I meant to do this pattern 90 degrees clockwise.
That's okay.
And I did it sideways.
That's okay. The chances are good chances that you're probably going to have to undo and reposition it. That's okay. You can, once you're done, you can reposition your thing.
Metal ring.
Yeah, your ring to make it. See, you notice how with mine, this is a massive ring. It's just I'm going to get it done and then put the ring on top of it.
Oh, okay.
So,
so how do you what is the pattern? Can we revisit this quickly? What is the in terms of the stitching pattern you do? How do you go about making sure so this is what my back looks like right now, and it's really ugly. The back is not great.
The back looks like it's almost as full as your front.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have you? Let me ask you something. Did you separate the thread?
I did. Yeah, I did.
Mm-hmm. It's you're using 2 pieces.
Yep.
These are okay. All right, because that looks so much fuller than just 2 pieces.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what my back looks like.
It looks really nice. Yeah.
So,
No, you're really good at this. I can tell you are well versed in cross stitching. I, however, am not.
yeah. So, yeah, there's a little bit of that thinking through like the next stitch each time that you stitch one.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, let me see that back again. Could you hold it up?
You really
close?
want to look at it?
Yeah, no, I really do. I mean, closer.
I honestly don't know what happened. I think
I don't either. That's why I
I
want to
think
look at
because
it.
I didn't like knot it and
Okay.
trim it while I was in the middle of doing my age.
So I'm seeing some things like your so a couple of things is like instead of like blocking everything out, there's a few of them where you're going just diagonal across. So that's a little bit. So I think what part of your issue is that you're trying to go diagonal across and stuff like that. You're getting you're kind of getting out of position, and then to get to the next stitch, you have to cut across everything, and that's making it look a little bit more full.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes what you can do, especially with the straight line letters, so what you can do is you can basically so this, I'm trying to think of where I'm almost out of it. Let me tie off this thread, and I will start the M on Merry Christmas, and I'll show you what I do with that.
Yes, you are right. Prepping for heaven. I'm just not very good at this.
Where's my thread?
Prepping for heaven seems like they also do some cross stitching or embroidery.
Where did my thread go? I don't know. Yeah, that's the other thing. It wastes a lot of floss going back. So that's part of it, is you can conserve a little bit of your floss if you. It's just, and that's just part of getting started and beginning, is learning how to think about the next step, think about the next stitch. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. I mean, I was stitching little X's on like a ironed on pattern for like a full summer before I really even learned how to do any embroidery stitch. And even then I got impatient, and when you get impatient with an embroidery stitch, it looks terrible. And so that's
I am the most patient person I know, Darren.
Yeah, I'm sure you sorry, I was going to say something I didn't.
You watch it, I'll boot you off the stream again.
I know you will. I know I was joking with Rob about a cross stitch pattern of like Elmo and fire. That's actually part of the reason why I got the colored cloth, is because one of the colored pieces is black. Has a black background, and so I do think it would be funny to look at, the meme with Elmo like falling into a pit of fire. I do think that would be fun to do that one.
Yeah, so with the gazillion kids that I have, or I won't say that it makes me patient, but it gives me a lot of opportunity to grow in patience. I keep begging the Lord to stop providing me with the opportunity and to just give me the patience. He has not granted that to me yet. So maybe you can pray with me and for me.
Okay. Now I'm resharing my pattern again.
Okay.
All right.
Here's what we're doing, you guys.
Okay.
I'm somehow off.
Well, your H is a little bit bigger.
Well, I mean, yes, but my R is off. Oh, I see why. Gee, dang it. Oh, it's not my favorite.
Okay.
I did too many of them.
Oops. I didn't think this through when I started this. That's all right.
You know, Darren, when you get really good at cross stitching, you learn to think ahead. I've been told.
A little bit. It's not quite chess playing.
Oh, okay.
So okay, so you take that pattern off. I'll show you what I did with like.
Oh.
So I'll show you what I did like with the M, right? So here I just went ahead and went up the whole pull, right?
Oh.
Right? And then on the back, what that looks like, right? Right there. Is it's just you see how that's just kind of the way that looks there?
Yeah,
I just
that looks
went up
real
each
nice.
side, right? So now what I'm going to do is on my way back, I'm going to make horizontal stitching on the way back down. And it's going to basically create little blocks on the back here when I do that.
That is so helpful. Thank you. Darren, I might have to do this and undo some of the stuff that I've done. I'm not
and that's fine. It's really frustrating, and that's something that I know when I first got into like even like bead weaving jewelry. It's like I always get mad when I realized I made a mistake because I was like 20 stitches ahead when I realized it, and then you got to undo all of it. But it's like you have to because you know that if you don't, like the way it's finished isn't going to be to your liking, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that you'll discover too, whenever you do anything like this, is that if there's an issue, if there's a problem, more than likely you're the one who's aware of it, and you're going to see it. You're probably going to be a lot more critical of your own work than everybody else.
Yes, that is just true with everything in life, I think.
But it just there's something about doing this kind of stuff that almost amplifies that a little bit because you're just focused on the smallest details and you're wanting it to just look really nice and so now I went back down and see how that like is blocked off.
Yeah. I've been wondering. Okay, so that makes sense.
And now I have that full side of the M. Now one of the things I didn't think this through. What I should have done is I should have started at the top of my M and come down
instead of the bottom.
That way I don't have to come up so far to get to the center. So what I'm going to do now, right? So now this is the kind of stitch I got to make. Like I'm making like a stitch across two squares to try to get back to the center of my M. Whereas if I done that appropriately, I would have just had to make one stitch.
Yeah. So can you show me when you're done with that stitch right there, what that looks like on both sides?
Sure.
I want every baby step.
Okay. So this is the back side, right? So then I took the stitch up here and then that's what it's looking like.
So you're going to start right at the bottom then. So then how are you going to go navigate between the back and forth? Because so the way I have been doing it basically is to just like go up and like I'm writing a letter almost like up and around that way. But that's not how you're doing it. You're going up then back down to make the cross. And then you're starting in the middle of the M. And then going back.
I went to the middle of the M and now I went over one to get that little piece of the M back there. And now the way that I did it, see, because you're thinking through the X here a little bit. So now the way that I did it, I only have one stitch to get to the next portion of that M. Right? So now I'm already where I need to be for that next piece of the M.
Wow.
So this would be a little bit easier if we were actually in person than on over.
Yeah, why haven't you moved to Minnesota?
I don't know. We do. My company does have a warehouse up in that neck of the woods.
Where? Like, do you know where? Is it like the Twin Cities?
In the St. Cloud area.
In the St. Cloud area? That's actually not too far from me. I went to college in St. Cloud.
So.
It's funny.
I know I do have to make a few business trips this year, and I have to go up that way. But I'll also be traveling with my boss, so.
Oh, you can invite your boss onto Integrated with Angela Erickson.
There you go.
You want to come do some cross stitching?
You know, if he'd be open to it, that could actually be a really cool kind of conversation because I know he does like prison ministry.
Ooh, that's awesome! I love that.
He's like before he moved around a little bit. I know he talked about how he did prison ministry in this area, and it's interesting because he's like, he'll talk about it, and then he's like, he doesn't want to like sound like he's pitching it either, but he's like, it's not for everybody because he's like,
you know why?
Because he's just like some people like. They get emotionally attached a little bit, and they feel sorry for oh, you're in prison, and so they'll like you can't like say, hey, I'll help you out because they might take you up on that, and then they get out and then they show up at your house. Like you said, you'd help me out. It's like those aren't situations you want to get into,
right?
And it's like so some people, he's like, there's issues with that. Like sometimes people think they're being generous and charitable, and then they
get taken for a ride, and
they put themselves in a bad situation. And it's like it's you gotta have boundaries.
Yep.
Yeah. So
well,
not
for
everybody
me,
not everybody has that.
I would have assumed that the worst part about prison is the Dementors. So that's what I've heard, anyway.
Right. Well, and then also like it's not like this. It's not like even like state prison or anything like that. Most of it is like more local county jail kind of stuff.
There's like a prison in St. Cloud too, right on the outskirts. So maybe Oh yeah. Yep. There was a time that I thought about maybe doing prison ministry. I would love to someday, but I was in my early 20s and I sort of thought maybe that wouldn't be prudent.
Maybe not.
So,
I mean, at least not like a men's prison.
Yes.
Sure. At least there are some like prudent decision making there. To like, like, okay, maybe not here, but there, maybe.
Maybe not this time. Someday when I'm old, wrinkly, and super ugly.
So there, I have my M done.
See, that looks so nice.
Then on the back, I kind of did that the same way. And when I went down, I should have stopped before I came back up because I did the same way with the other way. But this time, instead of like that down here, instead of starting with the horizontal stitch, I just did 2 vertical stitches to fix that X at the bottom, and then started coming back up with the horizontal stitch.
Oh, Veronica has arrived. Hi, Ronnie. You want to say hi to everybody?
I'm the only one on screen right now.
Oh, that's right. Sorry about that. This is really your show. There you go. Are you waving? She's like, I don't know where to wave.
Cool. But... I think she's just seeing the light.
Yeah, maybe. Can you say hi to Darren?
Hi, Veronica. Oh,
yay! Yeah, she's in a much better mood now than she was. Yeah. I love this age. It's so much fun. I feel like she's standing up now on everything, which I'm not thrilled about. She just hit 9 months. And she'll probably be walking within the month.
Okay.
I'm not thrilled about that, but she's cute, so I guess I'll let it pass this time.
So this is my E, the start of my E. And so now on the back, now I have to do one more vertical stitch
Mm-hmm.
to and bring it back through here. And now I'm already kind of starting to bring up the X on the
Yeah.
E, right?
Mm-hmm. I think I've almost undone the stitches that I did before.
So the I should be really, really simple to do because it's just one bar.
Whenever I get there, if ever,
You'll get there.
I'll get there.
Yeah.
surprised.
So this is a little bit different than like a solid cross stitch, like a solid cross stitch pattern, and that you do have to just think a little bit about when I'm done with this stitch, this X, where am I going to end up? So here's this quandary. I've been going up horizontally this whole time. If I go horizontal, it's going to put me where I need to take 2 stitches across. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to go, if I can, yeah, where I'm supposed to go. I'm going to go instead with that one, with the vertical stitch. That way when I come back through, I'm already where I need to be for my next stitch.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't have to go 2 across.
Now I lost a needle. This is dangerous work.
With Veronica in the room.
Yeah. Well, I was using one needle to sort of help me undo what I had done because I didn't want to waste any more floss. Veronica, can I put you down? Do you want to play? I have toys that stay in my office just for her.
It's nice.
Well, hopefully no one gets pricked.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. No promises, though. Yeah. Do you guys have any plans or do you have any plans after?
Do you guys?
Just a habit. I ask everybody, you guys. It's because when I'm streaming, it's like 9 times out of 10.
I thought you were Minnesotan, not Michigan.
Oh.
Use guys.
Use guys. It's just a bad habit. Even in our own home, like I say oofda a lot, and I'm not really sure why. I'm not Scandinavian at all.
Yeah.
My husband.
It's something you picked up?
Yeah, I must have picked it up somewhere because I am not even in the least bit Scandinavian.
You know, something I've noticed is I don't think, like, I moved back to the Kansas City area. I used to live in Houston for like 6 years. And I moved back, and like, I was like, people were talking about like the Midwestern ope, and I was like, I don't know what that is. Like, I've never done that. Like, I was like, I don't think I've ever done that. And then like after I done that, I started realizing that it's really kind of re-entered my lexicon. I really do say ope a lot.
It's back in your lexicon.
Oop.
Oop. That's so funny because I haven't thought about it much at all. I really like that comedian Charlie Behrens or whatever. I don't know if you've ever seen his stuff. I'm sure you have, and maybe you didn't know who he was. He makes a lot of Catholic comedy even. He was raised Catholic. And he and this other guy from Boston do a lot of comedy together, and it's kind of funny.
Charlie Behrens.
Charlie Behrens.
Behrens.
Berens.
I don't think I've ever actually heard of him.
Oh man, he's got like some sort of a promo deal with like Mills Fleet Farm. I've seen big cutouts of him in there with he has clothes that say like "Ope" on there, and his sense of humor is really funny. As far as I can tell, it's pretty clean humor.
Okay. It's hard to find good clean humor that's also funny. Because there's so many, I feel like so many comedians are going for the shock value and not actually the laugh. It's just kind of hard. I do feel like I have a good list of comedians that are good go-tos.
Yeah, one time Lars bought me tickets one year. What was it for? I don't know. Maybe it's Christmas or Valentine's Day or something to go see Jim Gaffigan.
Mm-hmm.
It was a horrible show.
Oh,
it
really?
was not funny at all.
I've gone to a couple of Jim Gaffigan shows. I thought they were pretty okay. The guy that he has opening for him is sometimes has good material, sometimes doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know if he just happened to like be trying out different material that he's like hasn't used before,
or have you never been like a huge fan of him to begin with?
I mean, so I'm not somebody that like watches a lot of comedians or anything.
Because
I don't watch TV.
Because I can understand how somebody could find Jim Gaffigan not funny. It's like
I have a really dry sense of humor. And I feel like his sense of humor is pretty dry too. Mm-hmm. And I just didn't think it was, I don't know. He had all these weird political jokes that just didn't land.
Oh, yeah. See, it's weird because I don't know that I've ever seen a show with Jim Gaffigan where he's really ventured into politics. That
yeah,
much.
Maybe because those jokes don't land. I feel like maybe he tried them out. And
maybe he was trying them out. Yeah. He has gotten a little bit more. Like, that might have been what he's doing. Because for a brief time, he did start getting a little bit more political. And I think he discovered pretty quickly he was going to turn off a portion of his fan base if he did that.
It sucked. I hated that show. It was like the biggest waste of money ever. And I felt horrible for my husband because he was so excited. It was just we haven't seen a comedian since because it was just not great. And I'm already pretty picky about that stuff because like what you said, I feel like a lot of comedians substitute
vulgarity for humor.
Yes, and that's that to me is the sign of someone who's not very intelligent. Like I think wit is really the mark of someone who is good at humor.
I like Nate Bargatze.
I don't know who that is.
You don't know Nate Bargatze? Oh, I think he's a good comedian. He's good. He's got some good jokes. I do like. There's one joke he has about buying his wife a oven for Christmas. Right? And he's like,
I think my husband bought me an oven for my birthday. So.
Right. But he was talking about how like it was toys, and it's like he's like, I see my wife vacuum. Like, you know how you like play vacuum growing up. She's like, I see my wife vacuuming, and I think she's living her dream.
That's really funny.
And so so one of her favorite toys was like an easy bake oven. So of course I got her like a real oven. You're not impressed? Like
that's so funny. I had an easy bake oven when I was a kid. That's super funny. I was never allowed to use it though.
Yeah.
So I was gifted for Christmas like an easy bake. What? And I was never allowed to use it. It was cruel.
No, it was cruel. But yeah.
And it was given to me by Santa Claus himself, aka my parents, and they still didn't let me use it.
That's weird. Like that's just mean. I guess was it because they thought it was dangerous, or were they just scared that you were going to run out of supplies and then they have to rebuy them and restock
No.
them?
I think they just didn't want to deal with the mess. Like, and it's not even messy. You know what I mean? Like it was literally you add water.
Well, it's not even that, but it's like you have these two little trays. Like you're baking a cake.
Yeah.
Get out your easy bake oven and share just a little bit of the batter on your little cake pan, or just share. Like it's just, or you're making a pie. You're always going to have a little bit of leftover dough. Make a little tiny pie. Like it's just.
That's super funny.
Yeah.
See, and this has been quite a debate on Twitter, I feel like lately. Like, should you buy your wife practical gifts? And I am of the mindset, like, yes. For Christmas this year, I asked for a robot vacuum, and I got it, and it was the best thing ever.
So I'm terrible at receiving gifts, really bad at it, and I used to, as a kid, I used to like at least feign some like interest, and there's a couple of pictures of me where I went a little too far with the enthusiasm. Like, I went a little too far with the enthusiasm for that one. That really was not as enthusiastic as I was about that. I went a little too far. So I could never quite get the right temperament right. And eventually I just gave up. Like,
see, you're not an actor, so that's
right.
good.
I'm not an actor. So the reality of that is that I know my ex one year got me a blanket that she made herself. And I was like, thanks, because it's a very practical gift. Like, and it was really nice, but she's like, you didn't seem to really like it. And I was like, this is one of the favorite things you've ever got.
I actually like this one.
So it's like, it's one of those things where like, I even have to tell my friends, I was like, just because I'm not like showing like excitement doesn't mean that I'm not like, it's just, this isn't like, that's the thing about a gift.
It's just my face, you guys. It's just my face.
Part of it is I've taken on some of my parents as well. It's like, part of it is if it's not something, like if it's something that I would buy myself, I don't want somebody else buying it for me, because they're it's going to be shaded by their taste. And I think part of that was also part of that was the birthday gifts I had received, because I'm a huge Ninja Turtle fan. I have I have the first 5 comics. I have the original series. Like, I'm a huge Ninja Turtle fan. In fact, I have like a Ninja Turtle right here on my desk.
That is so funny.
But Leonardo was my favorite because he carried swords, and then my siblings thought Michelangelo was cool. So guess which one I usually got.
Right.
And so it's one of those things. It's like, if I'm going to pick out a gift, I don't like that idea that somebody else is going to pick out something that's highly customizable to my taste and not actually like consult me on it.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's like, even like it's nice if you want to like get me something like, hey, this is going to be really practical. Like, I really appreciate that. Like, but it's like, don't try to surprise me with it. In some sense, it's like
So Christmas must be awful for you, in other words.
That's not too bad. The last time, so the thing though is that my parents really don't do any like gift shopping anymore.
I have to say, I wish that was the case in my family.
So that the last time my parents actually did any gift shopping and like actually gave me a physical gift for Christmas, it was a pair of socks.
I got a pair of socks for my parents as well this year.
It was a really nice pair of socks. They were woolen socks. They were really nice, but I was very happy about it.
It's so funny because you get older. As a kid, you would balk at the idea of getting socks for Christmas, and as an adult, it's amazing.
I got a sweater when I was in kindergarten. My kindergarten year of Christmas, I remember I got a sweater, and I was just like, "This is." I was not impressed with it.
This is the worst gift ever.
I was like, "This is," and like when I look back at pictures where I'm wearing that sweater, I was like, "That was a really nice sweater. Like, I should have worn the hell out of that thing." Like, I don't know why I didn't wear it more. It was a really tasteful kind of look at the end. It's like, oh my gosh. Like, I just didn't appreciate it at the time.
All right. Brick's mom wins for funniest, most awesome practical gift. A T-ball attached to a cat that sits on the edge of the mug. Somebody needs to get something like that for Rob Fatzinger and oh my goodness. Why am I blanking? Everyone with their cats. Yeah, my mom goes like all out on Christmas stuff. And sometimes like gift giving is her love language, but it's so not mine. It's not mine. It's not my husband. Veronica has very pressing opinions. She is advocating for the gifts. Do you like gifts? Yeah. I am not somebody that receives gifts well, unless they're really well thought out. For me, words of affirmation, like if you write me a letter, like a heartfelt letter or note, that means infinitely more to me than buying me a gift, unless it's a gift that was like very well thought out.
Yeah, I've gotten accustomed to, if I'm going to get somebody a gift, I got accustomed to really trying to think out what that person would appreciate, and then if I can, I try to make it myself. So like I have
lovely.
I do have a friend that I've made a Lazy Susan turntable, just for games, because you get the game board down and then like somebody's looking at it upside down.
Yeah.
So,
fun. Yeah.
And then I put like a because it's round, I put like I got a decal sticker for like Tolkien, like one ring to rule them all. Put on it. Just make it, just to add a little bit to it. I don't know if he ever uses it.
Here we go. And Brick, yes, that is exactly who I was thinking of. My brain. I remembered it was Steven. I just couldn't remember his last name. Woltman. Yeah. It's always the HLT. I didn't want to say it wrong.
Oh, yeah.
But yes, they need like little cats with T-balls.
I've also got accustomed to like making lamps.
Is there anything that you don't make? Just wondering.
Well, there's a lot of stuff that I don't make. I haven't really gotten into making any like actual physical furniture.
Is that something you would like to do though?
Yeah, I just don't really have. I don't have the space, and I don't have the patience for it. Woodworking is a very different beast.
So a good friend of mine, he's actually now the headmaster at a school up actually pretty close to Rob. Rob over at Avoiding Babylon, I think they work at the same school system. Like Rob does some financials for them. And then my friend now works as a headmaster for their school. But anyway, he is a carpenter and does a lot of woodworking, making like icons and then doing stuff in homes and stuff. And yeah, it is incredible. Like how much work goes into and how much patience you have to have doing that kind of work.
The only thing that I've ever made was my freshman year of high school. I made a nightstand that I still have, but like I look at that thing, it did okay. I took it to like competition, it did okay, but like there are like 10 things I would do different with it, and that's what. Part of it was like, listen, it was the first thing I ever made. I was a freshman, but like it just makes me mad because I know that if I had done those 10 things differently, I really do think
you would have won state.
I would have gone to state.
You would have had a legacy.
I would have, yeah. I would have. Because listen, I went to state in everything I competed in high school except that.
So what were all the things that you competed in high school?
So I played, it was a small school. So basketball and track.
I was in track too.
Were the only two sports. So I went down one year in track for 4x8 relay team.
Oh man, 4x8 was always the thing that I don't know how you guys did that. So I just missed out on state on my 4x1. No, it was a 4x2 that time. 4x2. The woman that was handing it to me dropped it. It was rough because we were like way ahead and then we got fourth.
Ouch.
Yes, it was. And I think I was in 8th grade or something, but I was competing with the seniors.
That happened to me once at a 4x8 relay. It was like a little bit drizzling and it was raining. And I told, I was starting out, and I told the guy that was going to be after me, I was like, listen, when I come in, I'm going to be in first place. But if I'm going to have the lead, don't blow it. Also, it's wet. Make sure you get a firm grip on the thing when I hand it to you. And it's yeah, I know. So I come in, hand it off to him, and he takes one swing of the arm, and there it goes flying out of his hand. It almost, if it was standard track, it was an 8-lane track. If it was a standard track, it would have been off the track, and we would have been disqualified. It's it ran for nothing.
Oh my god!
It was fortunate that it was a larger track than usual. Otherwise, it would have completely gone off the track, and then we would have gotten disqualified.
Oh my goodness!
It was funny.
So okay, you said basketball and track.
Yeah, basketball. I never actually played on the team, but I was on the team. I wasn't really contributing to it, but I was on the team.
That's super funny. So you weren't first string.
Right. I wasn't playing any games, but I was on the bench.
And you were on the team. You made the team. Okay, so and then what else did you did you do anything non-sports related? Did you do any other extracurriculars?
So I went down. So our school didn't have FFA until my junior year. Then I went down to state for FFA competition. So
what did you specialize in for FFA?
Farm management. It's basically just a math test.
It's just a what?
It's basically just a math test.
A math.
That's really all it is.
Oh, that's funny.
So I went down for farm management, and then I was also part of the state choir.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
So and that's the other thing I went to the state for, is vocal solo.
Vocal? You sing?
Mm-hmm.
What the heck? You are an enigma, Darren.
So yeah, I need to join my church choir because they don't have.
Yeah, you do.
They don't have a good bass singer, and that's what they're missing. So so that's one thing. That's one thing that was one thing that got noted on every judge scorecard, was that they said I have a very nice round bass voice.
Darren does it all. I think that sums it up. Yep, he does. It's funny because I was in I did a musical my senior year. And I did competitive speech my junior and senior year. Basically, I joined speech because I had a fear of public speaking. And then I joined the musical because I figured if I could sing in front of an audience, then the public speaking portion would be.
It doesn't translate.
It does. You don't think so?
No. So here's the thing.
For me, I think singing is so much more vulnerable than public speaking.
Here's how I know. Because here I did that. I competed in singing and everything like that. One of my problems is I never learned the songs until the day before competition. It drove my music teacher nuts. It hurt me my senior year. I could have gone to state my senior year, but I entered in the second verse too early. Went to the end early. But I have delivered baby animals. That's crazy.
He really does. He's like Forrest Gump.
I grew up on a hog farm, and you learn if the pigs are dry and there's no afterbirth, there's a problem. So you're going to have to help that along. So I have had to help with that.
That is super funny. My husband grew up on a dairy farm, and he remembers watching his dad help turn calves when they were not coming out. I don't know how you guys do that. Farm stuff is intense.
Yeah. So when you put your hand in, you always want to go toward the teats. There's going to be a fork in the road. Go toward the teats.
Everyone's like, of course, Darren has done this.
Right, of course.
There's nothing that Darren hasn't done yet.
Singing does not translate to public speaking.
Yeah, tell me why you believe that.
And here's why I believe that. Because when I was in seminary, one of the things that I had to do was I had to go to a parish and like ask for money, like just go up and stay. All I had to do, they gave you a script and everything. All you got to do, read the script, be done.
Mm-hmm.
So because I've sung in front of people, my ego was large. I was like, this is easy. This ain't gonna be a problem. So I put it on note cards, like I just like so that I didn't have to have like a big paper, and I didn't want thinking that I was just reading something that's just not genuine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I got up there and I killed it. And by
Literally.
killed, and by killed I mean butchered. I don't think I've ever been more embarrassed in my life.
Oh no! God keeps
lost-
us humble.
I lost my place. I didn't know what the order was anymore. So I was just like, if I was somebody who could think on his feet, I would have thrown the cards away halfway through it and be like, "This is why we need your help."
Yeah.
Am I not demonstrating this to you well enough?
That is so. Oh, so Nick wants to hear you sing, by the way, and I agree.
No.
No.
No. So then I had to like stand at the back of mass and like say hello to people. I said, "What?" Nobody made eye contact. That's how embarrassing it was. They were embarrassed. They were so embarrassed for me that they didn't even make eye contact as they like left.
Do you think they just didn't want to? They were avoiding eye contact because they didn't
know.
want to give you money?
Maybe, but like, and then like one couple like kind of lingered around, and they're like, "Oh, we could tell you were nervous," and I was like, "Please stop talking." Like, I don't want to hear I don't want to hear the end of this.
Oh, that is so funny.
It was good though because they mentioned like, you were obviously like it was. I mean, they were like, "Yeah, that was a complete failure," but
you are a failure.
But they were like, at least you came across as being sincere and genuine. Like it wasn't like you were like at least I didn't come across as somebody trying to sell them something.
Like a used car salesman. Right. Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's good.
You know, that's funny because I find that with people who sing a lot, I don't know, maybe this is just a couple of people I know, but it seems to me that a lot of people who sing in front of others are not comfortable public speaking. Like they think public speaking is more vulnerable. I have two sister-in-laws that are in bands, and they have a band together actually, and then one of them has her own stuff. And I remember when she started getting into music and like wanting to go to music school, I helped her put together her resume and stuff. I knew my sister-in-laws before I met Lars. And she ended up going to music school, one of them, in the Twin Cities, and now does all this stuff, but she hates public speaking.
So here's the thing. With singing, you practice that well enough that, you even if you're nervous, you can still kind of fall back on the fact that you've done it so often. Like it's not even like you're just kind of falling back. Kind of like, the argument that you need more training in the police force because when you get into those situations, you got to fall back on your training, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a similar thing. You just kind of fall back that you've been singing that so often, like you don't really have to think about it. Whereas with public speaking, like there's so many different, like somebody could interrupt you or something like that, and so it just makes you a little bit more fidgety. So like and people have mentioned this to me whenever I'm like having to present and stuff like that. They're like, "Are you okay?" Because like I'm just fidgeting the whole time. I'm just shaking and fidgeting, and I can't like. I'm like, no, I'm good. It's just I'm nervous. I want to like make sure that I'm I want to make sure that the information is accurate.
That's super. I feel like the complete opposite, and maybe because I've just done so much more public speaking than I had my twin sister and I actually. She was in the musical with me. The musical we did that year was Little Women because we just had so many more young women in the production than males had tried out. And we played two different sisters. So we both had somewhat lead roles. She had the more lead role with Beth, but she was also the one that was in choir and stuff a lot. I didn't do choir in high school, even though I love to sing. because I felt like that was a slacker class.
It was.
I know. Well, and I love singing, so I should have just done it as an easy A or whatever. But I again, with like my stupid perfectionistic tendencies, I felt like I needed to do more, which in hindsight was really stupid. I didn't need to.
Yeah.
High
well.
school is not that important.
No, it's not. In fact, like even though I did those things in high school, it's like it meant nothing. And I like you go off to college, and I mean, it all you learn very quickly.
Yeah.
Whatever you did means nothing. Nobody's impressed. Nobody cares.
Yeah, exactly. I will say though, I always tell people who, I don't know, like parents or young teenagers, when they say, like, ask what they should do in high school, if they should do any extracurriculars, and I 10 out of 10 recommend doing speech, even though it's super nerdy. But in terms of like career stuff, that is like the most beneficial thing you could possibly do, I think.
Yeah. So I went to the Missouri Boys State my junior year. So to my junior.
That's a surprise for us, and your day tomorrow is gonna be really good. Like,
All right, Avery's informing me that I'm gonna have a really good date tomorrow night. Look at that!
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I'm gonna try and make it right. It turns out like we've been like so good, you don't even know where to start off.
Wow, that sounds really nice. You should go to bed. All right, I love you.
Okay.
Sweet dreams. No, Anthony's not on the stream.
I know.
Somebody has a crush on Anthony.
Okay.
Bye.
Can you say goodbye to Darren?
Everyone that, okay?
Everyone already.
So embarrassing. So
Well,
embarrassing.
turn that
The
off.
whole world now knows.
Now the whole world knows. Don't worry, I'm embarrassed too.
For different reasons.
You told everyone. That doesn't make any sense.
Good night. Go to bed. See ya.
See ya.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't. That one, I tell ya. Yeah, actually though, Brick, like. Oh, Nick, it's having she's like 7 going on 17. Like, I worry about her. Pray for her. Pray for me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, I might have to
Jump off.
yeah, I might have to jump off.
Yeah. This is a little bit longer episode than the last one we did.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been good. But I think I got to a good stopping point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you just need to think through your stitching so that the back looks like some ancient hieroglyphic.
Yeah, my mind, it looks like what movie is that with all of the aliens and the corn stalks, like all
Signs.
the yes, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. That's what the back looks like.
Yeah. Just very weird lettering.
Well, Veronica, can you say goodnight to everybody? Thanks for coming on again, Darren. And
Yep.
It's always fun having you on, and it's fun learning so much more about you. I'm just going to keep bringing you on so I can learn more about Darren the Enigma.
That's right.
All right. So if you are new to this channel, please subscribe, hit the like, smash the like button if you haven't already. And make sure you share this channel with your friends. Season 2 is coming up here very, very shortly. I'm hoping to start putting stuff out here right after the beginning of the new year. So thanks for joining us tonight. And, we'll see you next time.